Hello and welcome to Mangator96, and today we're going to talk about Spy X Family or Spy Family. This manga, which doesn't need an anime adaptation with great animation to become extremely popular like some other manga needed in recent times, which just speaks of the quality that this spy manga about a family consisting of a spy, an assassin and an esper has. The main focus of this video will be the members of the aforementioned family, where I will go over their personalities, their past and their relationship with each other. But before we start, here's the spoiler warning for those of you who don't want to be spoiled, as everything I will be talking about is a spoiler. Now, without out of the way, let's start with Lloyd. Lloyd Forger has discarded everything about his past to work for his country as an undercover spy who acts under the codename Twilight. For his current mission, he is required to marry and have a child, thus he enters a marriage with Yor Briar and becomes the adoptive father of Anya. As for his personality, as a spy, his personality is very cold and efficient for his job, doing whatever it takes to complete the mission, from dating his target's daughter to becoming a father. However, he is shown to have a kind personality, as shown when he rescued Anya when risking his identity as a spy. Lloyd's past as a powerless war orphan, feeling despair and isolation, has seemingly stuck with him into his adult years and became his motivation as a spy to create a world where children wouldn't have to cry. He sincerely empathizes with Yor about sacrificing themselves for the sake of others and their beliefs, becoming the deciding factor for Yor's decision to marry him. His newest and most important mission, Operation Strix, requires him to investigate a paranoid politician, Donovan Desmond, who only comes out in public for his son's elite school's reunions. To infiltrate the school, Twilight has to marry and have a child in 7 days, in time for the Eden Academy entrance exam. Twilight accepts this as the mission will maintain peace between the two countries and benefit the whole world if it succeeds. He then adopts Anya Forger and marries Yor Forger, while legally going by the name Lloyd Forger, as a doctor. Not much is known about his life, not even his real name or age. It is shown that he was a war orphan when he was a child and then eventually became the spy known as Twilight. According to his falsified background as Lloyd Forger, his wife passed away 2 years ago and he has been raising Anya as a single father since then. As for his relationship with Yor, at first the relationship is just a means to an end, but as Lloyd spends more time with her and he starts to warm up to Yor and doesn't solely view her as a tool needed for his mission. As for his relationship with Anya, although he initially views her as a nuisance and irreplaceable, he soon becomes protective of her when reminded of his goal as a spy. He is often disappointed by her performance at school and wishes she would spend more time studying and less time watching cartoons. Moving on to Yor. Yor Forger is a 27-year-old woman who works as a normal clerk at Berlin City Hall, but is also an assassin who acts under the codename Thorn Princess. She agrees in pretending to be Lloyd's wife and Anya's mother in order to help him reach his goals as well as her own. As for her personality, Yor is a kind and straightforward person with a somewhat olive personality that doesn't care about matters unrelated to her work, often coming off as a private person to her co-workers. She doesn't seem to have much care for femininity, as she replies indifferently to her co-workers, asking her about cosmetics and fashion. Her kind personality is shown when she immediately leaps down the building in an attempt to chase the thief upon seeing an old lady's purse being snatched. Despite this, she has displayed a very morbid thought process, presumably caused by her years as a contract assassin, using dismembered limbs to help her solve an equation and being excited by a dinner knife and painting of a man in a guillotine. Being a simplistic person, She doesn't get operas and fine art, but does enjoy paintings involving morbid artwork, as shown in the manga. After the interview at Eden Academy, she tries to be more of a normal mother to Anya, however, she gets into trouble rather frequently. She also seems to have a strong maternal instinct, likely due to having to take care of her younger brother when being young, as she immediately becomes angry and terrifying when a group of delinquents attempted to hold Anya hostage, beating one with her groceries and intimidating the rest into running away. Following this event, she feels regretful for not keeping her eyes on her and teaches her self-defense as per request. As for her past, Yor and her family were originally from eastern Nilsberg. Both of her parents passed away when she was young, leaving both her and her younger brother, Yuri, as orphans, and causing them to be poor and unable to afford books or school supplies. Similarly, around this time, she was trained and started her career as a contract killer to support her brother financially and continued doing hits even as both her and Yuri got government jobs. She is contracted by her employer, who she refers to as shopkeeper, for assassination missions over the phone. Although initially taking the job to provide for her brother, she now uses it as a noble calling to clean up this country. As for her relationship with Lloyd, they first met when Yor goes to a tailor to get her clothes mended from a previous assassination. She notices Lloyd, who was staring at her because he was surprised at how stealthy she was. After he compliments her beauty, they start to have a conversation. In her mind, she starts to think about asking him to be her pretended lover for the party she was invited to. But as she sees Anya calling out Pa, she instantly gives up. Anya, being able to read her mind, finds out that Yor is an assassin and quickly acts out of a scene for wanting a Ma. After having a discussion, they both agree to help each other out, with Lloyd agreeing to be her lover at the party, while Yor acts as Anya's mother for the Eden Academy interview. On the night of the party, Lloyd mistakes his mission and Yor's mission and states that he is Yor's husband instead of lover. After leaving the party, Yor helps Lloyd fend off his patients and proposes to Lloyd, to which Lloyd accepts. They then became a married couple while concealing their true identities from each other. When tasked with raising Anya, Yor gives advice to Lloyd on the matter for which he is always thankful for. When the pair meet Yor's younger brother, Yuri, it is seen quickly that he doesn't trust the reality of Lloyd's and Yor's relationship, and in a drunken proclamation orders them to kiss or he will annul their marriage to protect his sister. The two are flustered by this order, but to Yor's surprise, Lloyd calmly agrees. Yor then gulps a bottle of wine and quickly gets drunk, saying she can't do it sober. Getting completely drunk almost straight away in a seducing manner, reaches for a kiss to only be stopped by her brother. She is quickly embarrassed and almost hits Lloyd. After Yuri's visit, Yor starts to develop insecurities about not being a good wife for the Forgers and mopes about it for a whole day until Lloyd encourages her. This insecurity comes again a few more times, as Yor feels as if she is a bad wife and mother because she cannot cook, and when she meets Fiona Frost, Lloyd's co-worker, Yor becomes jealous of Fiona and Lloyd's relationship and suspects that Lloyd will replace her with Fiona as the mother. When the pair went out for a drink, a drunk Yor asks Lloyd if he's in love with Fiona and says that he used to think she was pretty, to which Lloyd realizes her feelings. He tries to seduce her, to which Yor responds by kicking him in the chin in embarrassment, knocking him out. When he wakes up, he tells Yor that she already is an incredible mother and reassures her that he does not intend to replace her with Fiona. As for her relationship with Anya, when Anya first met Yor, it is seen that Anya read Yor's mind and found out that Yor is an assassin. As she finds the concept of spies and Hitman interesting, she comes out with a plan and has a scene where she desperately wants a ma, and due to circumstances it works out, they begin their family. Due to Yor being an assassin from a young age, she always thinks of a way to not try hurt Anya by being more gentle, but even so, Anya gets shocked at this and moves away from Yor at times. When Anya talks about Yor's cooking not being good, this deeply affects Yor as she wants to be as motherly as possible towards Anya, not only because she wants to keep herself safe from the SSS, but also because she wants Anya to have a normal life. Yor is also extremely protective over Anya, as when bad things happen to Anya, she is always seen to become extremely violent towards the perpetrators. Moving on to Anya. Anya Forger, formerly known as Subject 007, she is a runaway child from an underground experiment which accidentally gave her the power to read people's thoughts. After her escape, she moved from place to place for shelter, including the orphanage where she tricked Lloyd into adopting her. As for her personality, Anya being a child is very impressionable towards the things she is around. For instance, reading Lloyd's mind and acting in ways he found very odd and learning how to punch from Yor. Giving her telepathic ability, ostracizing her from people and her many foster homes, she instantly took to Twilight for being a real spy. Since being adopted, she wanted to go wherever Lloyd was going in hopes of seeing the spy stuff she always sees on TV, but after the events of Chapter 1, she learned of the harshness of espionage and stopped messing with Lloyd's spy work. Anya really wants a loving family, as her previous family likely abandoned her, leaving her with some abdominal issues, as she cried at the thought of Lloyd replacing her and asking him not to leave her behind. This is further proven by how she lied about her age so she can be adopted by Lloyd so he can do his mission. From her time as an experiment subject, Anya has a fear of people knowing she is a telepath, and from their experiments, it seems that it has left some mental scars on Anya. Anya's true origin as well as the source of her telepathic abilities are largely unknown. It is shown that she was experimented on in a lab with an unknown location under the codename Subject 007 and most likely somewhere in Ostania. Her powers were an accidental product of research experiments and she was forbidden by the scientists to draw, play or cry for the purpose of world peace. She escaped the facility of the research organization at some point, where she went through 4 foster homes and 2 different institutions under various different surnames and eventually ends up at the orphanage where she is adopted by Lloyd. When Lloyd meets her at the orphanage, she already possesses a Chimera doll with unknown origins, later nicknamed Director Chimera in her spy roleplay. Her relationship with the other orphans is also unknown, but they do see her off at the entrance with waving. She also has memories of her mother or a mother figure, as she reacts with tears when Murdoch Swan tries to provoke Yor by comparing her and Anya's old mother. As for her relationship with Lloyd, she is greatly interested and admiring of Lloyd's identity as a spy and his mission, causing her to persuade Lloyd into adopting her at the orphanage and motivating her to secretly help out his mission when possible. Despite Lloyd initially viewing her as a replaceable tool for his mission and as a nuisance, he is later reminded of his motivation as a spy and becomes very protective of her. Anya also chooses to remain with him despite Lloyd giving her the opportunity to be put into a better orphanage. Anya considers him one of her favorite things, along with the treasured penguin toy he buys her at the aquarium, which she finds irreplaceable even when Lloyd offers to buy a new one as Bone tore it up. As for her relationship with Yor, when they do initially get along and even hold hands, Anya becomes shocked when Yor is reminded of her brother's accidental injuries caused by her hugging him too hard, dashing away from Yor. Yor tries her best to be a better mother for Anya after the admission interview despite knowing it's a fake family, trying to improve her cooking. When Yor is discouraged by her failure, Anya comforts her and admires her strength, getting Yor to train her. Although Anya is fond of Yor, Anya is often blunt towards Yor's flaws, particularly her bad cooking, and often hurts her feelings visibly. With this, I covered everything that I wanted to cover on the Forger family. And that will be all for this video. If you like this video, leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comments below, or subscribe to the channel for more manga reviews and One Piece content. And until next time, take care.